In today's video, I'm going to share with you how much our family of 5 spends on food in 1 month in China. Yes, I actually tracked every single purchase for 1 whole month, including bakery visits, takeouts, online shops, in-person shops, absolutely everything. I'm going to break it down exactly into where the money went. I want to share with you how I actually shop, where I shop, and what kinds of items we buy. And additionally, I'm going to share with you a hidden cost that I hadn't actually considered until the making of this video. But before I tell you the number, I would like you to pause the video right now and leave me a comment in the comment section below telling me how much you think that we spend for 1 month. All right, are you ready? So let's start with the big number first, and because I'm nice, I'm not gonna make you wait until the end. So our total food spent for 1 month came to a total of 8,632 RMB. But don't click off just yet, because we're actually going to break that down into categories, and I'm going to tell you exactly where that money went. And I'd love to hear your thoughts below. Did this come under or over the amount that you expected? Also, if you'd like to share where you're from and how much money you spend on grocery shopping every month, I'd love to hear it as well. First, let's start with how I shop. So in Australia and in Qatar, I used to be a classic one big weekly shop kind of person, and I don't actually need to do that anymore. I basically used to plan out my meals for the week. I would head down to the stores and just stock my pantry and fridge all in one go. However, China has actually changed the way that I shop, because shopping here is just so easy and convenient. What I actually do, I just do smaller shops just more regularly, and so I just buy exactly what I need when I need it. And funnily enough, I don't think it's costing me any more money, because I'm not losing items in the pantry or in the fridge anymore, and things are not spoiling basically. So I do think I'm spending less money. Now let's talk about where I shop, and let's start with number 1. That will be our local independent grocers. We're incredibly lucky that within 100 meters we actually have dozens of little independent grocers down the street, and this can vary from different fruit and vegetable shops, wet markets where you can pick your own fish and have it freshly chopped up. There's also lots of butchers and even full supermarkets. We actually find that we buy most of our fresh fruit and vegetables from those shops because it's just so convenient and affordable. And as a bonus, we don't actually have to get into a car to buy anything at all. Number 2 is Hippo, and Hippo is basically our local chain supermarket that's within walking distance, and they have everything that a supermarket would have, including fresh meat, fresh fruits and vegetables, and lots of other groceries. I also find that they have a really decent range of bakery products and also household consumables that I frequently buy from there. The funny thing though is that even though it's within walking distance, I do find myself shopping online from there as well, because I find that I can access discounts or vouchers that I can't actually get if I purchase directly from the supermarket. And also it gets delivered straight to my door, which means that I don't have to carry any groceries home. Number 3 is Ding Dong. Ding Dong is basically just an online supermarket, so they simply have absolutely everything that you would need, and I find that I use this app multiple times a week for multiple reasons. One of them is that delivery is incredibly fast, so we don't actually have a car here in China, so I can order everything I need and just have it delivered usually within 30 minutes. I do have a membership which costs me 88 RMB per year, but honestly it absolutely pays itself off so quickly because you get free delivery. I also get multiple vouchers to use throughout the week, and on top of it I also get like a free gift on every purchase over 39 RMB. My regular Ding Dong shop usually includes eggs, milk, beans, sausages, and many other meat products, some fruit and vegetables. And I love that I can actually save all my favorites and shop within minutes. I also love that I can use it on the Alipay app, and that allows me to use the translate button, so it allows me to shop quite conveniently and easily. I do have to say that some products, particularly fruit and vegetables, can actually be a little bit more expensive than if I went down to my local shops. However, I do have to also say that the quality is incredible. I've never received anything that I was unhappy with. And they also have a very wide selection of organic products, including our favorite eggs. Number 4 is Sam's Club, and I think many of you will actually be familiar with Sam's Club. It is a membership-based supermarket with many curated products. I actually have a few weekly staples that I buy from there. We like to get their salmon, they have chicken nuggets, big packets of seaweed, multi-packs of chicken, onions, olive oil, and more. And although we do have to pay for a membership to use this particular supermarket, I do actually find it really worth it. Our nearest Sam Club is about 8 kilometers from here, which is actually not that far. I will usually access it by a public transport. However, because of the membership, I find that I don't actually need to go in often at all. With the membership, you do have free shipping for items. So some items have a fast shipping and others they get shipped the next day. But basically, if it's over 99 RMB, it gets delivered to your door for free within the hour. So for me, it is absolutely worth it not having to go into the supermarket at all. A lot of their products are imported, so I do find the prices on the higher side. However, you can find a very decent selection of wine, cheeses, and cold meats. And I also find that we balance things out by buying other products in bulk, like washing detergent, liquid detergent, and other household consumables. Number 5 is Taobao, and I absolutely love this about shopping in China. I'm not basically limited to what's located in my city, and I don't physically have to travel to find the products that suit my family. And especially as a foreigner or an expat, you're going to appreciate this app because you can get your hands on such a huge range of products from all over the world or the country basically, and have them delivered to your door within 1 to 3 days. Some of the main items that I buy from Taobao are things like frozen berries, chocolate, most of our dairy, and basically all our frozen steaks and meat come from Taobao as well. I actually buy a lot of these things in bulk. So for example, with the cheese, I will buy big blocks of cheddar and I can actually portion them out and freeze them. Mozzarella cheese, actually all the cheeses that we buy come from Taobao. And the other thing that I love is that I can find these items on our local supermarkets as well, but buying them in bigger quantities from Taobao also gives me a better price. So we're lucky that we have access to basically 2 fridges and freezers so that I can actually stock up on some of these things. And before I move on, I just wanted to say that of course this is not an exhaustive list. This is simply what I find works for my family right now. But if you have any stores or any other apps that you'd like to recommend, please drop them in the comment section below. Now let's talk about water. So in my previous video in the cost of living in China, I actually shared that we buy our water in 22-liter jugs, and many people have suggested that we get a filter or that we simply boil the water. But for the time being, we still purchase our water online. I have it delivered to my door usually within 4 hours during the day, and I'll share the cost of that as well below. Now let's talk about eating out in China because this one definitely adds up. Honestly, it's really hard to resist eating out here in China because it's just so convenient and accessible. We can just walk down and have access to dozens of little restaurants. And let's say if we go to a local shop, I find that we can quite easily eat all 5 of us for under 100 or 120 RMB. However, if we do go to a Western restaurant, that's where things can actually add up very, very quickly, and we find that we spend basically double or triple or more depending on where you go. Now let's talk about the hidden cost. So before making this video, I actually had a loose idea on how much money we were roughly spending every month. However, there was one cost that I hadn't actually considered, and that is the cost of lunches and snacks at school. So our 3 kids currently go to an international school, which is, I guess, a private school, and they're not allowed to bring in their own meals to school. So that means that we actually have to pay a fee for the year for their meals. So with Eva and Joaquin, they have a lunch and snack fee that we pay for at the start of the school year, and it covers 2 snacks and a lunch every day. With Javi, it's a little bit different because he actually gets a wristwatch or a wristband. And when we first found out, we were actually shocked because they told us that it links directly to our bank account. So essentially, he goes into the canteen with a wristwatch, he gets to scan it with a tray, and then he pays for exactly the food that he chooses to eat that day. And honestly, it's been working out really well. But as you can imagine, for a private school, the costs really do add up. And I actually have to say that I'm really thankful because Javi is actually really responsible and he can stick to a budget. He's very conscientious on not overspending or wasting food. And so that's been working really well for us. Now let's move on to the category breakdown, where the money actually went. So like I mentioned at the start of the video, we spent a total of 8,632 RMB. And I've got my laptop right here so that I can actually share these numbers with you. Now, let's start with number 1. So I'm going to start with Taobao, which was the online shopping, basically nationwide. and we spent a total of 2,512 RMB, and mainly that was spent on meat, dairy products like cream, butter, and different types of cheeses, as well as coffee and frozen berries. And I usually buy steaks in bulk from there as well. I spent about 600 RMB for 7 kilograms. These are Australian steaks, which are really, really awesome. We also spent 150 RMB in local organic coffee. And for example, for cheeses, let's say a block of cheese like the one I'm showing you on the screen can cost you between 170 to 200 RMB. So you can easily quite see how these types of imported products can actually add up. Number 2, we've got local groceries. So for that one, I'll include Hippo and our independent local shops. And that one came up to 779 RMB. Now moving on to Ding Dong, and that will be our online supermarket platform and home delivery, and that came to 1,221 RMB. And next we've got Sam's, again home delivery for 1,347 RMB. We also have water. So for this particular month, we ordered water 3 times. I usually order 2 jugs at a time, and that came to a total of 132 RMB. Now let's look at takeout and eating out. And this figure includes both eating at restaurants and also buying takeout, basically having it delivered to our door, as well as any takeaway coffees and bakery visits. For these, it came to a total of 928 RMB. And I do feel that for this particular month, that was probably a little bit more than what we normally spend. I think we ate out a bit more often. Next, we've got school lunches and snack fees for all 3 kids. So this was our hidden cost, and I think it might blow your mind. So for this particular month, we worked it out to be a total of 1,713 RMB. So for Eva and Joaquin's school lunches and snack fees, that worked out to be 600 RMB each, so 1,200 in total. And for Javi, that was 100 RMB for his snack fee, plus a total of 413 RMB for his meals in total. So we find that he's spending an average of 21 RMB per meal. So all of that together, and you get your monthly total of 8,632 RMB. All right, so what do you think? Do you find this a high amount or a low amount, or about what you expected for a family of 5? Personally, I think that you can live as cheaply or as expensive as the pocket allows. I do find that we maintain a lot of the eating habits that we had before coming to China. And of course, a lot of those products actually add up quite quickly. So all your dairy products or beef products are, I guess, the things that really bump up how much money we spend every month. Ultimately, I think I'm actually really quite happy with the number because, you know, we are buying a lot of imported products. We are able to eat out once or twice weekly, and we're also paying for those additional food fees for the school. So I think it's not too bad overall. If I decided to spend less money, of course, the steps that I would take would probably be to replace a lot of that beef with pork or chicken, for example, because beef is definitely more costly and chicken and pork are definitely more affordable here in China. And also the dairy products, I think if we actually cut back on them or cut them out altogether, will definitely give us a huge savings every month. The other step that I have actually taken is to make our own yogurt. This is something that I didn't actually start doing until I moved to China. I found that the kind of yogurt that we like is actually quite expensive at the amounts that we eat it. So I started making yogurt every week. If you'd like me to show you how I do that, please let me know in the comments section below. Other than that, thank you so much for joining. If you found this helpful, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you on the next one.